Each mandate would start off with a liking to working with certain materials and tasks. Let's call each thing they can do a task for now. So let's say a person becomes a mandate and begins playing around with their powers, as any human would do. Well, how would you think a normal human would react? First off, they'd likely go to the things they're already comfortable with. I mean, we can see that when getting into new things already. Whatever we feel is most comfortable is generally what we work with or enjoy the most, so we can expect at least a new mandate to do the same. Now that they have these powers, let's say they start walking around and inspecting everything they come across until they feel they understand it. Well, first off, we need to define thing. I know it seems arbitrary, but when you can see every part of everything, it's needed. Let's say he is walking down the street. What does he inspect? The whole road? The pavement? The air on top of it? The dirt beneath his feet? I think the decision made here is what would point to an affinity. You can't just point to something and tell a mandate, inspect that place over there. They would be able to get so much from every part that they could spend hours learning about what another would consider inconsequential to how it functions. So if you told this mandate to inspect a tree, he could watch how it converts sunlight into usable energy. He could watch it grow. He could learn about how it makes more of itself. He could deconstruct why wood is so durable. There are a million things that could be done with that, and many affinities that could stem from using plants to accomplish tasks. Just saying plant users could mean someone that makes tools from growing trees, or someone that can convert massive amounts of sunlight into usable energy using groves of trees around their home, or even someone that just uses plants to create minions from non-living material. Just because a mandate has an affinity for a task doesn't mean they can't use it to accomplish another one. Now that we know where affinities come from and how we define them, what do they do? In theory, it would make learning a new task and performing a known task by those means easier, so that they would prefer to use it in fights or with their tools. That would also mean that if you took the ability to use that affinity away from them, they would then be weaker. So say a plant user had no access to sunlight for energy, or even plants for that matter. This makes it somewhat arbitrary, as in theory there would be no end to the number of affinities one could have. There would be a soft limit in that you could only learn so much in your life, but that would be hard to define, and obviously some people would be better at learning, and some could and would get apprenticeships or shortcuts. This is where I start to lose Heek. He doesn't want to make a soft limit on what they can know, or how difficult a task is for them to be arbitrary. I don't really see any other way that has a good chance of having interesting situations. This way, they would have a challenge when learning specific tasks that require them to use another affinity. So, if they wanted to do something, they would have to do it the hard way in some cases, such as giving a machine the ability to self replicate. That would be combining a plant like affinity with a mechanical one. It would also mean that the path of being a master mandate is somewhat harder as you get closer to the end. As they learn the opposing affinities, the remaining ones become farther away, not by a hard system, but rather they are farther from that path of thinking. So we need some feedback. How would you guys handle them knowing the world around them? Would it be as simple as, I know this, so I can do it, or would you add nuance to it? Would it be what it was here, or something else? Let's see how Heek thinks after listening to this too.